welcome to Movie Review Mom. I'm the mom and I do the movie reviews. Thank you so much for visiting my little YouTube channel. I appreciate it. And while you're here, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate your support, really, truly. So the video I'm reviewing today is called Operation Mincemeat. This dramatic telling of a true World War II story premieres on Netflix on May 11th, 2022. It's rated PG-13 and is 2 hours and 8 minutes long. I'm going to give you an overview in a nutshell, and then I'll point out things I liked and didn't like, as well as offer tips for parents, themes worth talking about, funny lines, interesting lines, and even movies that I think are sort of similar that I think you're also really going to like if you like this one. All right, let's dive in. Warner Brothers Pictures provided this intriguing synopsis of the story. Quote, hoping to change the course of World War II and save tens of thousands of lives, two intelligence officers plot to break Hitler's deadly grip on Europe by recruiting the most unlikely of secret agents, a dead man. It's 1943. The Allies are determined to break Hitler's grip on occupied Europe and plan an all-out assault on Sicily. But they face an impossible challenge: how to protect a massive invasion force from potential massacre. Operation Mincemeat is the extraordinary and true story of an idea that hoped to alter the course of the war, defying logic, risking countless thousands of lives, and testing the nerves of its creators to breaking point. I think that's a really good description. And so I'm going to give you a list of things that I liked. It's pretty long because I really enjoyed this. First of all, the espionage movie is based on the book of the same name by best-selling author Ben Macintyre. So about the movie, he said, quote, Operation Mincemeat was probably the most successful military deception operation ever carried out. What the deceivers had to do was try to persuade the Germans that black was white and white was black. And they did this in the most extraordinary way. It now sounds like it comes straight out of fiction, which is exactly where it came from. So Ben Macintyre is referring to another fiction book that one of the characters is reading with his sons one night at bedtime. No spoilers, but I'm definitely going to check out that book. Director John Madden was fascinated with this true tale, and he stated, quote, it is a completely wild story, so precarious and so unlikely and so whacked out in every possible sense. Speaking as a filmmaker, that is what's irresistible about it. End quote. He gives us a very respectful telling of this British story. The cast is fantastic and includes Colin Firth. Well, you had me at Colin Firth. I love that guy. Jason Isaacs, Johnny Flynn, Penelope Wilton, Kelly MacDonald, Mark Gatiss, Matthew McFadden, and Alex Jennings, among many more. But truly, the cast was outstanding. So despite the serious wartime circumstances, there is quite a lot of clever humor and a lot of clever dialogue as well, I thought. Beautiful camera work. The identity of the man, believe it or not, was not revealed until 1998. That's amazing. I love learning true stories on movies that are fictional and exciting. It's a true story. It's crazy. There are actually a few James Bond references in the movie, such as a spy boss being referred to as M, a Q branch with gadgets, and a listing of Money Penny in the final rolling credits. Actor Johnny Flynn plays Ian Fleming in the film, the author of the James Bond stories. And it's really cute to see how he gets his inspiration for his stories by what's going on in the room around him. And then there are twists. I love twists. There is some suspense and tension, and I was intrigued during the whole movie. Now, that being said, there were a few things that I didn't like or thought could have been handled a little bit better. First of all, the title sounds like it's from a horror movie or something, right? Mincemeat. Well, it got its name because of the horrific visual of this dead man. So that's disgusting. But like the British stiff upper lip, the story is told in a very straightforward way, not super creative and jumping around timelines so much and, just kind of being out there and creative. It's just kind of chronological order mostly. Now there's a little beginning and end that is a cliffhanger kind of a thing, but it just felt very British in its telling. And this remake also includes some subplots that are apparently not actually true. So people who want hardcore history might be a little disappointed by the love story distraction, for example. I thought it was lovely. I thought, my microphone's falling down here. I thought it added the human element to the story, so I didn't mind it at all. Let me give you some tips for parents. Now, there will definitely be kids who are bored. It's adults talking. It's not a whole lot of action. It is World War II. There's a lot of politicking going on and that kind of stuff. It's definitely one of those movies intended for older audiences who appreciate history and this kind of film, which I do, so I liked it. You do see a dead body in various conditions of deadness, I can say, that are kind of gross. There are, I should say, a couple of moments where a man uses his hands to pleasure others. Now we see facial expressions, and it's only for a brief moment. And if you're not really paying attention, you might not know what's going on, but it seemed inappropriate, but I don't know if that's part of the real story or not. But spies are willing to do things that a lot of people aren't. So I'm just saying. And there is some profanity, including 2 F-bombs. Now the movie is rated PG-13, and so 2 F-bombs are technically allowed. Beyond that, I thought it was pretty clean and straightforward. Some of the themes that are illustrated well in the movie are World War II, fiction versus reality, truth, hope, instinct, family, sacrifice, teamwork, and it absolutely took an entire team to pull this off, and then trust versus deceit and betrayal. So I always write down funny lines and interesting lines, and I have them on my written review at moviereviewmom.com, so you can run over there and check them out. But I'll share some of the lines with you right now. I didn't write down any funny lines, even though I mentioned there was some humor, but I'll share a couple of interesting lines. For example, Charles Cholmondeley, played by Matthew McFadden, says, "The fate of the free world dependent on a corpse and a donkey cart," because the corpse is determined to wash up on the shores of a Spanish coastline. And really, I mean, that is the fate of the free world to depend on that to some extent. And then this was just kind of a funny line where the same Charles Cholmondeley says, "I may vomit." And then Colin Firth's character, he plays Ewan Montague, says, "I may vomit with you," and they're again trying to be respectful of this dead man whose body is serving their country. And some other things happen. I don't want to give away spoilers. My overall movie review mom grade is an A. So before I go though, let me give you some recommendations for some other movies that I really enjoy that I think you might also like. The first is the original version of this story, a movie I haven't seen, but it's called The Man Who Never Was. So check that out. I'm going to have to watch it just to kind of compare the two. But then the other two are I've got 3 more. The Imitation Game, The Courier, and Darkest Hour, all based on true stories about World War II and spies. I loved all of them. And you can catch, I think, The Imitation Game and The Courier on Netflix currently, and The Darkest Hour, I think, is available on Amazon, as well as the other 2. I loved them. I thought they were great. And it's amazing to me how we're still learning new stories all the time about World War II. And it made me reflect on what's happening in current events right now in Europe, and how there are things probably going on there that we will not ever find out for 10, 20 years or even more. We'll see. I love war movies, and I didn't used to when I was a little girl because it was war and I was like, ew. But now they're so filled with honor and courage and valor and integrity and anyway, so many great themes in war movies. I just am fascinated and I love them. I hope you enjoy this movie as much as I did. Comment down below. Let me know what you thought. And thank you so much for spending time with me. Be sure to visit me on Instagram and in my Facebook group and all the other places on social media where I am. Have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.